Welcome back to the Creative Boom podcast. I'm your humble host, Katie Cowan. For episode 42, my guest is Murugiah. He's the London-based award-winning artist and designer who's creating surreal and colourful, often acid-trippy artworks for the likes of Apple, Disney, Marvel and Facebook. Born and raised in the UK with Sri Lankan heritage, Murugiah trained as an architect in London before choosing his current creative path, specialising now in illustration, art direction, typography and design. Shyam, as he's also known, describes his work as joyful, loud and unapologetic abandon, and with a South Asian impression using bright bold colours and detailed graphical compositions. In this joyful episode, we chat about the power of discovering your own voice and why it's so important to stop comparing ourselves to others. We talk about doing what we love and how finding that happy path isn't always an easy one. We explore Shyam's creativity, his passions, what inspires him. And aside from finding out his shoe size, we learn about his love of cats, tattoos and movies, video games, fold-up bicycles and vintage sneakers. We get a real look into his world. If you're keen to go freelance or are struggling to find your voice, I just know this episode will be super helpful. Season 2, of course, has been made possible thanks to our sponsor Shillington, the original graphic design bootcamp with 6 campuses around the world, along with its new online course. We'll be meeting one of Shillington's teachers later in the show to find out more. But for now, here's my chat with Murugiah. Shyam, it is so lovely to finally do this. It's been a while in the making, but finally I get to speak to you. It's wonderful to have you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me on. It's been such a pleasure to listen to the previous episodes of the podcast, and a real honor to be part of this episode. Thank you.
No, it's great. Obviously, you know, I've been a fan of your work for some time, and I've been following what you're doing, and but for the benefit of anybody who doesn't know the wonderful Murugiah, can you tell us more about, you know, how you got started? Because you've been working as an illustrator since 2013, but before that you trained for 7 years to become an architect, only to find after all of that it really wasn't for you.
Yeah, it was. It's been a long journey to where I am now, and I wouldn't have done it any other way, I think, looking back. But I wanted to be an artist. I was very interested in art as a child and at school, and I was always spending in my sixth form. I was always spending any free time or any free lessons I had in the art room, while others were in the library revising for exams. So it was a definite sign that I should be doing this for a living. And I spoke to my parents, and as you do at that age, you kind of get your parents' advice on where to go with your next steps. And my parents basically told me that I couldn't be an artist. They strongly advised against it, and asked if I wanted to do something that involved art, but also had this sense of a 9-to-5 where you earned a salary every year, and something that had a bit more structure to it. I would never blame my parents for that, because they came from Sri Lanka, and all they ever knew of coming to the Western world was working in that type of environment. You either be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, basically. So they didn't have any idea on in terms of art and the creative side of things. So sure. I agreed, and I went to architecture school for 7 years.
Gosh, that's devotion, isn't it? That's I suppose there's a weight of responsibility when your parents went through, that kind of epic, complete move to a new world. I guess you probably felt that responsibility on your shoulders.
I did, and at the time I didn't really know anything about illustration or art, so I was willing to kind of accept that, sure, maybe architecture would be a good idea. That would be fun. And I had the best time in architecture university. All of my friends that I have today, I met them at university. I met them during that time. So I've shared so much experiences with them, and the last 7 years being training to be an architect in London, it was amazing. But had my parents known a little bit more about art and creativity, I would have had a completely different path to getting here. But in
Yeah.
terms of the responsibility, I'm only really kind of, I don't know, understanding that a bit more now, just getting to the age that my parents were when they moved to the UK, I think. Just
Yeah.
understanding what life is like now as a 33-year-old. Yeah.
I've got nearly 10 years on you. And I've kind of like only started to go through that now. There was sort of no pressure from my parents or anything. But there's all these kind of expectations, aren't there, that a lot of them we dream up in our heads. My parents just wanted me to be happy, like most parents, and they encouraged me. But I guess you sometimes think that especially if you've chosen a completely different path to your parents, that guilt and in doing something different, it can not necessarily come from them. It just comes from, well, gosh, I'm trying to figure out where my guilt comes from, because I'm on a completely different spectrum now to what they did, and they couldn't be more proud. And I'm sure your parents are the same. But it's just, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's accepting yourself, isn't it? It's getting to know who you are and
Absolutely.
accepting where you are and where you want to be, and letting go
That's very
of
much it.
letting go of all of that is tough, isn't it?
It really is expectation, and it's like it's the silly things that one tells themselves that they should be doing rather than listening to their actual kind of feelings and thoughts about what they want to do themselves. It's always expectation. I did loads of cognitive behavioral therapy a couple of years ago, and one of the biggest things that I took was they're quite good at giving you like buzzwords about the type of issues you're having, and one of them was compare and despair. It happens all of the time, and it happens in the illustration community, it happens on Instagram. You are comparing yourself to someone else, and then you're despairing about that thing. And if you recognize that you're doing it, you just stop doing it. It's really nice to not do that.
It's really empowering.
Yes, yeah, it's great. But in terms of parents, once I finished my architecture training, I did about 6 months at a practice, and I started losing my hair from stress. Started getting stress-induced alopecia. Yeah, and you couldn't tell now because you saw me earlier, and I've got.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful lockdown mane,
Yeah. I'm going to keep it growing. But I told my parents this, and I explained to them that this isn't the right thing for me, and I should be doing something slightly more creative and more, what's the word? How to say? More instinctive in what I do. Like with architecture, there's a lot of even after you've graduated, there's a lot of steps that you need to take to kind of get to that position of pure creativity. And I think with illustration and fine art, you can get there in a morning. You could do it, you could make a piece of artwork that morning and fulfill that need to kind of make that thing. And my parents were very accepting and understanding of that. I think once they saw that it was kind of stressing me out in that way, and I could explain to them in this way, they were like, just do what makes you happy. Just do what, because my dad's a doctor, so he completely understands why stress would cause your hair to fall out. And he was like, go the opposite way of that, just, yeah.
So what was the pivotal moment apart from, obviously losing your hair? Was there a day or a moment or just a sort of, time where you just sort of looked at yourself in the mirror and said, I have to change this. I can't do this.
It was a series of things, actually. The final year of architecture school, my tutor at the time, he was a very well-known architectural photographer and professor at the London Metropolitan Architecture School. He was saying how well I had presented my project, how well I'd planned it out. the planning of the overall building that I had designed that year, the presentation I had made, the books that I had made to go with the project, which everyone had to do. It's just I was producing them at a higher level. He was complimenting me on all of that stuff, and at that point I was like, okay, you haven't told me that my building is structurally sound, or like the architectural compliments that are coming in haven't come in here. So there was a sign there. I was constantly making extra projects or extra things to do with that final project, to do more with like posters that came with the building, or like advertising, or my visuals were kind of turning into more, paintings of the building rather than architectural drawings. There were signs there. And then once I got into the working world of architecture, I was given a project where I was doing toilet details for 6 months, and then a restaurant, like a set of pizza restaurants for just detailing them. And I was like, this isn't what I signed up for. I just designed a building in my final year of uni. Like, what? They really don't teach you that architecture is a long haul.
Yeah. And gosh, I'm welling up just to hear your voice. I'm getting really emotional because as soon as you start talking about, all those other things that you were finding a way to do, you can tell that is your absolute passion. And I feel like, you really sort of, especially in the last couple of years, you're really finding yourself. It's just wonderful. And I really relate to it. So I read your updated about page this morning, and I loved how you'd put in there the word unapologetic. Because to me that, again, I feel like I understand where you're coming from so much with that kind of one powerful word, because it feels like you've kind of had to go through this process of realizing that this wasn't what you wanted to do in terms of being an architect, and now you're sort of doing what you love. You're probably still sort of hanging on a little bit to that past, but it's slowly but surely, and probably in the last 12 months, speeded up to where you are now, which is flourishing, and you're in a much happier place. And you can see that there's this acceptance of who you are, and it's just wonderful.
Well, thank you for saying that. It feels like it's going in that direction, but I can't take credit for the word unapologetic. I actually, I was asked to talk about my voice a bit more recently with some colleagues, and it's hard when you're trying to analyze, or how do you say, quantify the thing that you do in word form, because I'm a visual thinker, I'm a visual person. But I actually asked a few people, and one of those people was Nihal, the Six Music DJ. Yeah. He bought a couple of prints, and I just messaged him and I was like, how would you describe my work? And he used that word unapologetic, and I was like, thank you, that is really cool. And it was I thought I'd use it.
Yeah, no, definitely. But the rest of your bio as well, it really feels like you're finding yourself, and your work has sort of evolved as well, and it's now this kind of wonderful, colourful, it's just very, very you, isn't it? What else inspires it? Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, I had to. Well, I had a conversation with an illustrator friend just before lockdown, I think it was, and I was in a style of work that was textured, gritty, very surreal still, and very colourful still, but it was muddied down by lots of textures and gradients and things, taking influence from previous artists and graphic designers that I liked. And I had a conversation with him, and I was like, I'm not happy here. What's going on? And he was like, you are a fun, bright person. Why are you making work that's not that way? And we have a great relationship. And he was just like, I liked your work from a few years ago when it was just all bright and graphic. Like, what are you doing? And then I had a little think, and then I was like, how can I combine my architectural past in the form of graphical compositions along with fun, bright, surreal imagery and colorfulness, and then a voice of my personal journey. A person born in the UK with Sri Lankan heritage, growing up with Western influences, but having this pull from an Eastern heritage. That, how do I mash all of that up together? And that's what this last 2 years worth of work is, basically.
That's brilliant. And I love the typography in some of your illustrations as well. That's very Sri Lankan, and it's Tamil, isn't it?
It's Tamil typography, yeah. And what I do there is I'm basically using it. I'm asking my mum to translate it, or just check the translation, which is really nice. So it brings us together in terms of having a conversation about work. And she's like, oh, so why have you titled it like this? And then I explain to her what it's about. So that's a real nice way to connect with my parents in that form. And yeah, it looks really cool as well. Graphically.
It really does.
It's fun to have it in there. And I think it got the attention of a few clients as well, because I've worked with a screen printing studio who release licensed screen printed movie posters, alternative movie posters. And they've asked for, I've done a couple of projects with them, and they've asked for Tamil variants, which I never would have expected, because it's not a language that is so widely spoken, but it is in one very small part of the world, so it's really, really cool to incorporate some of that. And I don't fully understand it either, which is nice, because that is my journey. Like, I am Western born, so I'm understanding it along with everybody else who's reading it. So it's quite a fun way to experience the artwork when doing it.
And would you say this is like the first time in your career that you're fully embracing all of that and who you are and your heritage? And
very much so, because I think previously, it's very similar in terms of an illustrator's journey or an artist's journey. You are influenced by people, and you maybe do a little copy of what they're doing for a bit, and then you finally have this realization where you can kind of, I don't know, you go, I'm tired of that. People keep saying that it looks like that. So how do I bring more of my individual voice and individuality to it? And it requires a lot of thinking and like taking a step back and actually analyzing what you are about. It's yeah.
Definitely.
I wish I could, whenever there's like a young illustrator that contacts me, I'm very, very specific about telling them what to do in terms of finding their own voice, but not like specific about their journey, just saying, find the thing that is uniquely you. That is the thing that you should be making artwork for.
And the thing is, when I used to hear that advice, I never really fully understood it until I sort of had to go through that process myself, ironically. And I suppose it's the same for most of us, isn't it? Going back to what you said about how we do a lot of compare and despair, that's very sort of common human trait that we all share. And a lot of us will probably spend a lot of our careers when we freelance as creatives, trying to do what everybody else does, doing what's expected of us. And we'll go through that phase, I think. Some might not. And they're very lucky to not have had to have gone through that. But there comes a point where you realise that actually, by focusing on everybody else and what they're doing and the competition and perhaps sort of living up to others' expectations, you're missing out on the most powerful thing in the world, which is your own voice. That's what I'm discovering anyway.
What did you discover about your voice? What was it that... where and when? I'm turning this into another interview now.
No, go ahead. It's nice. With this podcast, I guess, was a pivotal moment for me. I did a podcast with Creative Rebels the other day and didn't mean to insult them, but I confessed that I'd never listened to their podcast. And it wasn't because I didn't want to. It was just that I... was terrified of listening to anybody else's podcast that were doing it really well, because I didn't want it to influence what I was going to do with this for Creative Boom. I just wanted to come at it with complete fresh eyes, because at the time I was in a very sort of vulnerable place. I'd lost a lot of my confidence, which was kind of like had come from nowhere. A few personal things had happened. And I just thought, right, I need to do something I love, which is, get back into radio, do podcasting and build my confidence up again. And here we are in season 2, and I'm still on that kind of journey, which is fantastic. But as I was saying to Adam and David on Creative Rebels, you can spend all your time and energy looking at what other people are doing, but really the true power, as I said, comes from looking at what you are and what you have, because nobody can compete against what you are, because you are unique. Whereas if you try and be somebody else or inspire too much from other people, you're always going to sort of be playing catch up, and it's never really going to be about you. So I guess, like, if anyone's listening to this who are going through a similar thing to me and Charm, it's, I think you have to sort of just take a step back, like you say, and just look at who you are and what your strengths. And when you start to put your energy into that, my goodness, it just opens up this entire world, doesn't it, of opportunity. It's amazing what follows.
The biggest thing to counteract that is one's inner voice. Or not that inner voice, but the voice that's the negative voice in their head that's saying, no one cares about this, or, you're not good enough. It's all of that negative stuff that stops anyone from doing anything, really. What was there was another thing that this cognitive behavioral therapist taught me. Oh yeah, she said, whenever you say something negative about yourself, imagine you're telling your 10-year-old self that, imagine you're saying that to your 10-year-old self. And it was a way to be kinder to yourself. It was a way to kind of just say, would you say this to a child? Would you say this to a friend even? Would you say this to a young version of yourself? No. Then why are you saying it to yourself now? It's like, get away from that and you can be unstoppable.
Yeah, definitely. No, I totally agree. And also I think for many years of doing something like Creative Boom, the kind of feeling in the industry when I first started out 12 years ago was that, if you talked about these things, if you talked about mental health and just anything that might show a sign of weakness, I say in inverted commas, it was frowned upon. Whereas now it's lovely because it's not seen as a weakness. It's seen as a strength to be able to talk about these things, and completely normal, because we all go through it.
Where is that attitude of strength come from? Does it just come from dudes? White dudes running the world.
Well, I think it's just an industry, isn't it? It's the expectations. It can be a bit elite. For sure, but I'm really interested in. I'm looking at this in every industry. I'm always seeing new voices in film or in music, and just seeing where it's come from and what it was like at a certain period of time, and it's always kind of a certain type of person. And I just want to know where that attitude comes from. It's very interesting to me. Well, there's a bravado element, isn't there? And I think there's a fear of, if we show that we might not be perfect, then that will kind of jeopardize our career, our reputation, our chance to win clients. But I was always taught by my dad, actually, that business is about people. And if you are just yourself, well, I'm not going to be completely myself, because that will be, that'll just, nobody needs to see crazy Katie. But yeah, if you kind of show a little bit of the madness, and the reality, people are endeared by that. They warm to that. When I was running a PR business, we had clients that stayed with us for 10 plus years because of the relationship we had with them, the honesty, the laughs, the friendship. I remember back in the days when we were allowed to sort of go out and go on a train down to London and go and have client meetings, and then going for a pint afterwards in a lovely London pub, when it spills out onto the pavement and you're putting your pint on the sort of, or your lemonade on the on the windowsill.
That does sound really nice. I wish we could do that right now. Unfortunately,
we could meet, couldn't we, on our Bromptons?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
I cycled twice on the weekend. I went to Kingston to pick up some Nintendo Switch games because I'm a
Oh my
child
goodness
still.
me.
And
No,
then I
you're
cycled.
not.
Oh no, I love
Honestly,
it. I'm very happy
I
about
love it too. I love it too.
Yeah.
I'm a big kid. I think like computer games are better than anything. Anyway, we'll come on to that. Where else did
We'll
you
get
go?
onto that. But so Saturday I went to Kingston from Tooting in South London where I live. So that was like 7 miles there and back. And then on Sunday
Beautiful
I
day
met
for
up
it.
with some friends in a very socially distant way to cycle around Epping Forest. And they all had regular bikes and I had my Brompton.
They're
And
great,
they were
aren't
like,
they? Though.
yeah, well, they were like, you're going to be really slow, and it's because of that little Brompton. I was like, I guarantee you it's not. It's because I'm very unfit and I will just be slow anyway. But we had a really nice time, and yeah, it was so nice to just be cycling around the forest.
Oh,
It
I
was
love
lovely. So
cycling.
the first
How many
cycles
bikes?
of the year. Yeah.
Oh, so good. Have you got many bikes, or have you just got the one?
I used to have a road bike, and then I got tired of it. I don't know why. I think it was the space. We live in a small flat and we keep our bikes
Yeah.
inside, and I kept bumping into it and things. So I was just like, right, let me revisit Brompton because I used to have one, and
Yeah.
it got stolen a few years ago.
Oh no, I hate it when a
Yeah.
bike gets stolen. It's like I still mourn the loss of my stolen bikes.
It took me many years to get over the loss of that of my old Brompton, which is why I could
Yeah.
only get one recently. But now I learned from that mistake, and the Brompton sits right next to me, even in my studio. I can see it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
no,
always
I'm the
gonna be with
same.
me. Yeah.
It's like
What
it's
one
like
have
having
you
a little
got?
child.
You've got a blue one, haven't you? I think I saw it on Instagram.
It's what's the colour? It's like a beautiful turquoise green, with the black handlebars. So when obviously when the lockdown first started last year, Brompton and a load of other cycle brands were just swamped, weren't they? And we went to our local bike shop in Manchester. Can't remember the name of it. Gosh, where's my brain this morning? And they've just had a delivery. Like nobody could get Bromptons anywhere in the UK, and we just happened to randomly walk into the shop to inquire about them, and they just had a delivery. And so there was, I actually wanted the colour I ended up with, but my husband Tom had come in and he sort of said, I think I might get one as well, you know. I said, you better not get it in the same colour. So we've now both got the same coloured Bromptons, which is very embarrassing.
That's so cute. That's cute. That's so
we
cute.
look like a couple that have got the same coloured cagoules, I tell you.
That's so cute. I love it. When my girlfriend and I wear like something similar, we don't even plan it. We're just like, we come out of our respective rooms after we've gotten changed and we're like, oh, you're wearing the same thing? Cool. Let's go out like this. It's going to be cute.
Have you seen that gorgeous Japanese couple on Instagram that wear the same outfits?
I have.
Oh,
And
I
they're
can't remember
elderly
the
couple,
names.
right?
Yes. They're so
and they
sweet.
just hold each other's hands and they're wearing like striped shirts and kimono jackets and stuff. Yeah.
Now and again, I sort of yelp at it and I'll sort of show the phone to Tom, my husband, and I'll go, look. And he'll just look at me, frown and say, don't even think about it. So don't you want to watch matching sailor tops? And we can go out in our Bromptons together. And he's like, no. Bless him. But yeah, we got lucky, and he got the S-type, the sports handles, and I got the, what's the one in the middle? Is it the M? I've got a brain like a sieve.
I think that's the one I have. Yeah.
I want the sit up and, what do they call it? The sit up and beg style.
Right. I didn't know that's what
like
they called
a cat
it.
does. Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
you know,
I
when
understand.
a dog or a cat's sort of begging for food, so you're sort of sat upright.
Yeah.
God, I hope that isn't like a horrible term that's come from somewhere that... Anyway.
Let's just call it the upright position on the bike.
We'll call it the upright position. Definitely, darling. Yeah, so it's so nice to just have this, tool of freedom, I like to call it, because you can put it in the boot of your car if you have a car, or you can take it with you on the train. You can even put it as your hand luggage on an aeroplane. But they're not cheap, are they?
If it's like in a bag, right, it can go in the overhead compartment, I think. It's like a similar
I haven't dared
size.
take it to the shop yet, but I'm very excited about doing that. I'm gonna go to Aldi or somewhere like that and put it in a
Do you have a
bag.
to go on the front of it?
I bought the pouch that basically sits underneath the seat, and then it unwraps from the pouch and you just cover it. So I haven't got a bag because they're a bit more expensive,
recommend
aren't
getting
they?
I'll send you a link, but the big Brompton bag that sits on the front. My mates were taking the mick out of me yesterday with it, but I was like, it got cold and I had layers and I kept giving them layers of clothing and they were like, we take it all back. We like this.
They're grateful. They're grateful. Definitely. Yeah.
But I've taken it shopping and it's really good. It's good for food shopping.
I have got one for the front, but I'm just mean I've got like a bag that covers the bike. So the bike turns and then the little kind of seat pops out the top, so you can just carry it by the seat. Although you're not supposed to do that, or you're supposed to carry it by the frame. But anyway, and then what you can do is you can put it in the trolley, and nobody would know that it was a bike. They'd just think it was a bag.
Oh, I see. Right. The one thing I need to get
allowed.
is yeah. I'm going to look into seeing how. Well, my girlfriend Ruth, she is not a Brompton fan because I don't know why. She's just different.
What is wrong with her?
She's got a regular bike. She's bought one recently and she loves it. She can't wait for it to arrive and stuff. But I'm going to try and see if she wants to get Brompton as a second bike, and maybe we can go on those cute Brompton holidays and put it in the car and do all of that stuff. It's going to be great.
They're amazing little machines. I mean, sorry to keep going on about them, but
no.
We went on a camping trip.
Yeah.
Last summer when we were allowed to, and took the Bromptons, and we were cycling
Where did
all
you
around.
go?
We went up to the lakes. So I actually climbed this thing. There's this hill that comes up from Ullswater to the campsite, and it's not easy. And I was like, oh my goodness, am I going to do this on 3 gears? And it was pretty tiring. Because I have got a road bike, so the road bike's just better suited for climbing hills. But I was so surprised. I was absolutely fine. I mean, I was really unfit last year, to be honest, but managed it in my jeans with my little bag on the front, carrying all my layers. It's great.
That was the other thing I was going to ask, because I can't really cycle if I'm not wearing like cycling clothes, because I've tried going to like casual meetups, and I tried to. It's impossible. I just look disgusting by the end of the cycle, so I have to like bring a second set of clothes and like arrive half an hour earlier than I need to get changed.
It can get a bit sweaty, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do it. I think you'd have to work in a studio or an office where there's a shower at the other end, because exactly. it can, because I find myself just speeding anyway, because I just love it. I love the freedom of moving and speeding along. But
I really want to do an artist collaboration with Brompton, just create like a multicolored, because each element comes in a different color, right? And that was my original plan behind getting one. I was like, I'm going to get one which is like multicolored, basically. I went for a gunmetal gray with like leather or Brooks accessory, you
got the Brooks hand. Oh, now we're talking. Did you get it in a tan?
I don't know. I think tan brown was the thing is I got it on eBay from a guy in West London, and it was barely used, and I think it was a few years old, but I took it to a bike shop for a checkup, and the guy was like, how often do you use this bike? And I was like, oh, I use it every day, but I bought it from a guy like a week ago, and he was like, it's still got the original wrapping on a bit of it. Clearly the person that sold it to me hadn't used it, and was just laying in their basement or something. So I pretty much got like a brand new one on eBay. So I was during lockdown, so I was very thankful. But yeah, it's got the Brooks seat. It's got some funky handle grips, which are like cork. They're made of cork.
Oh, yes. I want to get some of these. You can also get ones where you've got like the little kind of like racer handlebars on the end. So you can sort of lean forward and do a little bit of, a Tour de France.
Yeah.
I love it. I
would, if we get a second one, I'm going to ask Ruth if I can get her like a custom multicolored one.
That would be amazing. I mean, have you heard of Izzy Wheels? Excuse me.
I haven't. No.
So Izzy Wheels, you should get in touch with them because they do the most amazing wheelchair wheel covers that are custom made via different artists and illustrators.
Oh,
and
I do know them. I do know them.
Fabulous.
Malika Favre did one recently, didn't she?
Yes, I think she did. And they're such lovely, lovely women. And that's definitely... But this is the thing that surprises me. Why hasn't Brompton done something like that? Because that would be amazing. They
do artist or collaborations with people, but the people they collaborate with, they're almost like, I don't know, I think they might have done one with Tom Dixon or maybe people of that caliber, but the collaboration or the ending of the collaboration itself doesn't really change that much to a regular Brompton. I'm like,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. They haven't really gone crazy, have they? They're very sort of, they stick to their kind of brand, and it's only a very subtle kind of change to their...
Well, not if I'm invited into their offices.
That would be great, you know. Well, listen, when I come down to London, we'll have to meet up when we're allowed to. And I'll come down on my Brompton and you can take me on a tour around where you live. That would be great. It'll be absolutely terrifying. I mean, it's terrifying in Manchester, so I'm not looking forward to cycling on London's roads. But cycling's not too bad there now, is it? Because there's a few more of you than...
there's a few more, and it's like everything in this world, there's a bit of confidence that needs to be involved. You have to kind of I tend to if I'm trying to make a junction and there's no cars giving me way, I'm just like, I'll ease out, I'll put my hand out and say, stop, let us out. Yeah. And we're on tiny little bikes here, just recognize us.
Yes, that's what I do. I think it helps, doesn't it, to sort of just turn around and smile at the driver who's waiting in the traffic behind you and just give them a little nod and a grin.
Yeah, exactly.
And just try and be a good human on the road, really, and be a good cyclist. I don't pull off any kind of dangerous moves, and I let people go past me when I can. And, it's all about sharing and caring.
I get so many people kind of on the cycle pathways in South London. They've got their dogs or their kids, and I'm cycling and something gets in the way, and they automatically go, we're so sorry. And I'm like, it's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's good.
I think cyclists have got a bit of a bad name, or certain types of cyclists. They get very angry, and they don't.
I haven't got time to be angry.
Yes,
I just it's wasted energy. I just have to be careful that I don't go into my own little world, and make sure I'm still aware of what's going on around me, because that's my danger. I just tend to sort of go off into my own little space in my head. But there you go. Now, you've got your Brompton very proudly on your About page. But I also spotted there's a cat, a black cat, but I think you've actually got two, haven't you?
Yeah. I've got two cats. I've got one grey one and one black one. The black one is named Mobius, after the French illustrator Mobius, or alternatively named Jean Giraud. And then the grey cat is called Daenerys Targaryen, and she's the mother of dragons. But both Ruth and I, when we got the cats, we were like, you can name one and you can name the other, and we kind of decided them there. So I named the black cat Mobius, and Ruth named the grey cat Daenerys, pre-final season of Game of Thrones, because not many people
before it got really awful.
Yeah. Not many people liked Daenerys at the end of that show. So but they're cute. They're so much fun. I love the cats. I got tattoos of them both on my arms because I
oh wow, really? And did you do the artwork for that and take it to the...
I didn't. I actually got a fellow illustrator, Sophie Moe. She is a fabulous illustrator and an amazing tattoo artist. I got her to design them. I just said, can I have one sitting in a ramen bowl and one licking itself, like licking its paw? And she designed these cute illustrations that are now on my arms. I have designed some of my other ones. Yeah. Right,
okay. Yeah. How many tattoos do you have?
My parents might listen to this, so...
Okay, 2. All right, well...
The 2 that I mentioned.
Okay, say no more. Zipping them out of closed.
I've got my arms covered basically. I think that's the plan. I'm just going to like cover my arms and that's about it. I don't really want to go anywhere else, I think.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Say no more. Say no more.
Oh no, it's okay. Part of this is the other thing of having strict South Asian parents. Part of this is like letting go of that a little bit and being your own person.
They love you. They care about you. They want you to be happy.
They do, and they just had certain expectations from their parents, and on and on and on and on. That's how it all works, really. Yeah.
We're taking a little break to get a word from our sponsor, Shillington, the original graphic design bootcamp, or in this case, some creative advice from one of its teachers at its New York campus. Marcia Decker is an artist, designer and musician originally from Arizona and now based in the Big Apple. I asked Marcia, where do you see some designers going wrong and what advice would you give to help them to put things right?
I would say, I think there's tends to be at times maybe a little bit of like a design bubble going on where you can kind of see the same trends being recycled either on Pinterest or Behance or on Instagram even. And while that's really great to be in dialogue with contemporary trends and aesthetics, to really push past that, I think it just takes time and research and dedication to, trying to uncover some really interesting visual language and aesthetics that might not be so readily available. So I would recommend designers to try and get out of that bubble as much as possible. If it's learning a new creative medium, getting a photography photo book, or just going to a museum and letting other kinds of creative mediums inspire you, I think that that's really how we'll start to really push design forward and push your own work forward as well.
To find out more about studying graphic design in as little as 3 months online or at one of Shillington's 6 campuses around the world, visit shillingtoneducation.com. Now, back to Murugiah. Are you quite minimalist when it comes to your space, or does your style in your work translate across to how you sort of present your interior?
That's a work in progress because I currently have way too much stuff, prints on the walls, DVDs, books, and a lot of sneakers. But I want to put it all in a very minimalist looking place, like store it all away, hidden storage, still have all of it around, but like present it in a minimalist way. So at the moment, we haven't really been bothered to do that because we're moving at some point this year. So we're like, let's just wait till the new place and we'll hide all this stuff away behind a wall of cross-laminated timber, like shelving. It's going to be really nice. But that's me. I don't know. My fashion sense is very loud and like I'd wear a lot of colors and stuff. So yeah, I guess on some level, my whatever I do to the studio or to the future house is going to reflect it in some way. Yeah.
Definitely. Look forward to seeing it. You mentioned sneakers. How many sneakers have you got?
A lot. I'm just nervous about how many I've got. I've got like...
You haven't ever counted?
No, yeah. There's too many to count. But I found a friend recently. I've discovered that he has the same shoe size as me. So I was like, thank the Lord, I'm going to give you so many pairs of shoes because I can finally kind of like get rid of some of this weight that's over me. Because hang on.
How big are your feet? What are we talking?
I'm a UK size 12, so I don't think I can give you any shoes, Katie. I'm sorry.
See, I'm a size 9. I've got quite big feet for a lady, but damn, 12 is too big.
I'm not sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Well.
Unless Tom, I don't know what size feet Tom is. I could give him some shoes if you like.
Tom's a size 9 as well. He can fit into my high heels. Not that he's tried them on. Gosh, I haven't actually put high heels on in years. I much prefer wearing some trainers because they're just so much comfier. I think my days in heels have gone, definitely. Not that I was really that inclined to wear. No, not really.
Yeah, I think fashion as well, like more people are wearing trainers and sneakers in general. Yeah. Like you see them at award ceremonies and weddings and
Yeah.
various other things. Yeah, so it's
And
it's a lot.
retro trainers are coming back, aren't they? They've been in fashion for a couple of years now. Like even
Yeah.
the sort of big brands are sort of bringing back some classics, which
Yeah,
have proved
yeah.
really popular.
I mean, I think I've got repeats of the same shoe in different color palettes, and
Yeah.
I think it's a Jordan 1 from before I was born. That was when it first came out. So like,
Wow.
yeah, it's a very well-known shoe. My dream job would be to do an artist collaboration with Nike where they call on me to kind of redesign or recolor up one of their classic sneakers.
Get in touch with them.
There's so many people at that company, but how? If you could help me.
How? Well, maybe someone will listen to this podcast and will know someone, but usually you can sort of start by thinking about the UK PR agency that represents that brand, and you can sort of approach the PR person that looks after their account or team. Obviously, with Nike, it's going to be huge. They might have an in-house marketing manager.
Yeah.
So those are just, a couple of ways to sort of, make a connection, or even just reach out to them on Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, in terms of my portfolio, I think I'm trying to apply the work to different materials. Yeah, I'm collaborating with a rug maker to make a rug out of one of my designs, and I'm applying the kind of colors to different canvases and surfaces, clothing,
Amazing.
that kind of thing, just to broaden up the use or the application of the work, so that when I do approach a client like Nike, they can see how it might translate a bit more.
So you know what you're doing.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, how exciting. I'm looking for the kind of, looking forward to seeing that and you launching your first kind of, product line, which, could be just around the corner.
Yeah, we'll see. I've got so much stuff on at the moment. I'm like doing lots of projects for myself. I put a list together of like personal projects to achieve this year, which involve making a sculpture, making a rug, applying acrylic paint onto stone and bowling pins, and collaborating with an embroidery artist to make a custom denim jacket with some of my colors and textures on.
Oh my goodness
and
me.
then I've got a list of dream clients, which is like a lifelong career goal, something like a Brompton or a Nike or a cover of the New Yorker, which are like super unachievable, but also they're like long goals. And then I have the short goals, which I think the short goals of personal projects, I think I've done nearly all of them this year, and it's March. So
well, that's amazing. And we all have these dreams. We all have these kind of aspirations. And I think it goes back to that kind of, the kind of cognitive behavioral therapy that we give ourselves, in that we'll say, okay, actually, we're doing really well. That was a small goal ticked off the list, but that's brilliant. Yeah. That's a celebration, particularly during these kind of, tiring times. You and I are very privileged, I suppose, and have a roof over our head, and we're very lucky, and we're still working. But that's not to say that this whole, pandemic hasn't been exhausting. Just the worry of it all and what's happening, the worry of our parents and our loved ones. But yeah, it's just sort of allowing ourselves to celebrate these little wins, and then keep our expectations realistic, but not allow that kind of voice in our head to sort of stop us from going for it. I guess it's finding that balance. Yeah. And
I would say,
yeah.
No, I was going to say we are in a very privileged position, because we do the thing we love. We work from home, and it's a very comfortable life. Basically, it's not taxing really, but it's
not really.
No, when you really think about it, and you can compare to in other situations in a positive way, can't you? You can kind of look at someone else's life and be like, well, that sucks. I'm sorry that you're going through that, and this is really rough, and you compare it to your own life, and there's no comparison there. You kind of understand that someone's going through something pretty rough. Like the number of people that have lost people in their lives and not been able to say goodbye this year and last year is
Terrible.
really, really upsetting, and really kind of like it's a thing that we naturally have to do, to kind of not necessarily to move on, but to like accept someone's passing. But not being able to do that is like traumatic.
Very
And
traumatic.
yeah,
There's
and it's that
definitely
kind of,
been. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
no. What were you saying?
I was just going to say it's I've got friends and family who've gone through that in the last sort of 12 months, and it's heartbreaking. But the silver lining is that it really does make you appreciate that time is not indefinite. We do only have a small amount of time on this earth, so if we can, we have to really sort of embrace it, enjoy it, make the most of it. And not dwell on the past, not worry too much about the future. Just live in the now, live in the moment.
That's it. I think
that's all we have, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I heard on the last episode when you were talking to Izzy that both of you were saying that you don't really think about things too much, or no, that when you're on I think it was you that said when you were planning a journey, you don't really over plan it until you're in the car and you're actively like looking at the map and needing to it's living in the moment. It's like that's exactly what we should be doing. It's like not really overthinking things.
It's a blessing. Definitely, it's a trait that I'm very blessed to have, that I'm just not a worrier. My husband's completely different to me. He worries about money, he worries about our future, he worries about our savings, our pensions. He does all the sort of grown-up worrying. Whereas I'm just sort of in the background, sort of dancing and waving my hands in the air and going, la, 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 life is great. And then, I think I'm good for Tom in that respect, because I just sort of remind him to just, and I'm not saying he's like this grumpy man that doesn't want to have the same coloured Brompton bicycle, or doesn't want to wear the same sailor top, or, and he's just sort of like constantly frowning and worrying about money. He's not like that at all. He's lovely. But yeah, I think we're good for each other, because I'm like a balloon that could go off if I'm not like, he doesn't hold me by my ankle and keep me back on the earth. And I manage to sometimes lift him up into the air and go, isn't it great? Just float.
It's good when you've got
fly.
When each person in a friendship or a relationship is like helping you out in that way, where you're understanding each other's differences and kind of applying your own thinking to that person's thinking. It's Ruth and I are the same way. We have different kind of personality traits, and we can kind of help each other out in that way, which is really nice.
That's great. It sounds like she's a keeper, and that's wonderful. But I did hear that you mentioned you were picking up a Switch game. What was the game?
Oh yeah. So on Saturday, so on my birthday, I celebrated my 33rd birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. On the 21st of February, I think. Yeah.
Right.
A couple of weeks ago. And Ruth got me a Nintendo Switch, which I was very, very grateful for. And I got her, her birthday was like a week before, and I got her this really nice art print. And I compared and despaired myself. I was like, oh my God, the two presents do not match in price at all. What is going on here? And she was like, no. I wouldn't normally do this, but we can play together. It's a nice joint kind of gift. Yeah. So it was really nice. But I cycled on Saturday to pick up 5 video games.
Ooh, okay. Which ones did you get? Which ones?
I basically want to relive my childhood playing Nintendo, because it was the first system I'd ever got.
Super Mario, come on.
Mario, Zelda, Pokemon.
Oh, amazing. I've never played Zelda,
Have you never?
No, I had this conversation with Dapo, who we spoke to, a couple of weeks back. Yeah. And he just couldn't believe it. He said, you need to get on Zelda. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I do. So how are you finding it? Are you loving it?
I absolutely love it. The Pokemon game I got was it's called Let's Go Pikachu, but it's a modernized remake of a Game Boy game I played when I was a child. And the Game Boy game is in 2D graphics, and this is like a 3D world. Exactly the same story, but completely three-dimensional. It's what you imagined you were doing when you were playing that Game Boy game as a child. So that was great. The Mario games are the design that goes into them and the thought that goes into them. They've got
so
like
good.
it's a very basic structure. It's like a hero that needs to kind of like defeat a bad guy while rescuing some of his friends. But because they've had so many times to like Mario's 35 years old, I think. I can't remember. But yeah, they've had so many times to do it, or so many versions, that the design and the thought process goes into the game engines and how the games are designed. Like Ruth was playing Mario Sunshine and she got a bit bored. She's like, I don't like this water gun that's on his back all this time. And then she switched to Mario Galaxy and Mario's running around these 3D planets and she's like, oh my God, this is so much better. Wow. You know, and it's the fact that Mario has such a history, you can go into each one of those games and kind of find a new enjoyment level out of all of them.
They're so colourful and beautiful. I think you two would enjoy Overcooked as well, Overcooked 2.
Yeah, I heard you recommend this on the previous podcast. I'm
absolutely stressful.
Gonna have a look.
Really stressful.
Why
really
is it so stressful? What's the
because you're working against a timer and you have a menu and you have to make these meals from scratch, and it's really cool because you start off on the ground in a sort of like, I don't know, in a kind of sushi restaurant. So you're making sushi and you've got like pots to sort out, you've got to clean dishes, you've got to run back and forth, and you've got to work as a team. It's it's a co-op game. And then as you progress, the levels get more and more difficult. You have floating ships in the air. So sometimes they sort of, they move away from each other. So you can't get from one side to the other. So you have to wait, or you have to lob things across to your team player. And sometimes you obviously throw things off the side of the ship and then they don't get to the other person. So it's quite chaotic and complicated. And like to the point where Tom will just sometimes go, I can't play this anymore. and I'm like, I was just getting into that. And he's like, you just play some Animal Crossing, I'll just read my book.
That's so cute, because we do that. Ruth is like, no, she'll say, do you want to play some Mario Kart? So we play some Mario Kart for a bit, or Smash Brothers. And then I'll say, I'm a bit tired. Why don't you play Mario Galaxy? And I can watch. And she is such a risk taker in video games, and I am the safe player. Like, I will wait for a platform to get to me, and she won't wait at all. She'll just make the jump and just like risk it, and then she'll run off to the edge and go and get extra coins when you don't really need to. And I'm like, what are you doing? I get very, very animated just watching her play. So it gets very stressful.
I love that you went and cycled and picked up the physical games rather than just download them like pretty much everyone else. Why is that? Do you just love the things that they come in? Do you like having the physical thing
I think
to collect?
there's something tangible. It's relating back to like the nostalgia of putting a cartridge into your Nintendo system.
Yeah.
It's like it's all part of that. Like
definitely
the digital. I do download some of the digital games that you can't get in cartridge form.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't be my kind of choice to do all the games like that, I think. And it's the same with artwork and prints and stuff. Like right now there's this big kind of crypto art thing going on, and everyone's like getting you to join, and it feels like a cult. I'm not gonna lie, it feels like a cult.
I was gonna say, what do you think about all that? Gosh, it's so new, isn't it? I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Me neither, and which is why I'm not going to do anything about it right now. But I think I'm not going to judge people for going on it. If it means that an artist is making some money where they wouldn't be normally, that's great, and it applies, or it gives a lot of artists a voice, and it gives them a platform to produce work onto where they may not normally through traditional channels get their work out there. On the other side, it's very bad for the environment. The amount of servers, the amount of energy that's required to kind of hold all of this art in the digital space is bad for the environment. So, right now, I think it's probably a good idea to wait and see. I'm a wait and see guy. I don't think in my lifetime I'm going to see everything's going to be like a Ready Player One world. I just don't think that's going to happen in my life.
Did you enjoy that,
still
though?
be sorry.
Did you enjoy that story, though? I loved the book. The book was
I
brilliant.
loved the book. I thought the film was okay. I thought Ernie Klein, the writer, he wrote the script as well. So he was like adapted his own book into a screenplay, and any writer would want to change things, would want to make things more cinematic. If you're getting someone like Steven Spielberg to direct your movie, like, of course you're going to change the first act of your book to being something more cinematic. So, but I was a bit annoyed about how dark and grim the color palette was in the film. It felt very moody. It didn't really feel like...
Get in touch. get on Twitter. Say, come on. We need a bit more colourful.
Well, maybe there's a sequel coming out, so we'll see what happens with that one. But they had an opening sequence in that movie where they showed a Minecraft world, and then they showed Batman climbing a mountain, and it was like, that Minecraft world looks so much more interesting. It was filled with bright colours, and then you never saw another world like that again. It was all very standard sci-fi stuff.
Speaking of movies, are you allowed to talk about that thing that we said that we might be able to talk about, but we might not be able to?
Not yet, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Okay,
it's
all right.
Still being looked at by the person who will make the final decision,
we'll move
and it may not happen. I have to be very like content with the fact that I get a rejection from that. But what I can talk about with regards to movies and my work is the projects I did with Mondo, and I did 2 Stanley Kubrick projects, and we worked with the Kubrick estate, which was really, really cool to kind of like
so good
pitch ideas to. I had 2001 and A Clockwork Orange offered to me, and I produced posters for those 2. And they both resonated really well. I was really, really thankful for that. The Clockwork Orange one resonated really well. I was surprised at how I need to find the email, but the email, I sent it to the art directors at Mondo, and they were just like, they worked with alternative screen printed posters for many, many years. And they were like, we've never seen anything like this before. We love this.
And do you know what? Today is World Compliment Day, so that's lovely. That's lovely to hear.
I need to respond to your tweet, the Creative Film tweet, but with that one. But
you really should. That's great.
The thing is, the reason I did that was because I'd looked at all of the other alternatives. I've been working in this alternative poster scene for a long time, making really terrible movie posters, and not really understanding it. And then I took a massive break, and then I got these 2 gigs. So I've seen all of the Clockwork Orange stuff that has been made by fans and like various people out there. And all of it was either orange, white, or black in color. And I was like, guys, come on, there's got to be more to it than this. Like the color orange doesn't really appear in that film that much. And I watched the movie again because I've seen it many times, and you have to go to it when you're making something like that, or at least trying to make something unique. You almost have to kind of say, forget everything that's come from it before. What is your instant thinking, or what is your like instant reaction to this film? And that's what the result of that poster was that I made. So it's, working very intuitively, I think I've realized has been a trait of mine recently, and it's paid off quite a lot. I tend to do it with every project now. I'm very much like, there's not many roughs in terms of when I do a job. I tend to do final line work, and then maybe even a final color very quickly, and say, what do you think of this? And then if it's a yes, great, I'll refine it and I'll get it to final stages. And if it's a no, I'll do another one of those completely different. Like, working intuitively has been really helpful. I don't know if it's for every client, but we'll see moving forward.
That's great. I suppose it goes back to what we were saying at the start, when you find your voice and when you sort of embrace you, then it just opens up these floodgates, doesn't it? In a good way. And all this creativity comes rushing out. And it's just amazing. Everything just falls into place.
It really does. I'm doing a few gig posters next. I've done one for the Grateful Dead, which really suits my style.
Great. It really does.
It's just psychedelic dancing bears. Perfect. But But I've got to do 3 other bands next, and they're very different in terms of their tones and their outputs and stuff. So it's going to be really interesting to see how I can apply this type of artwork to those bands in a creative, fresh way. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
We will see. And my advice would be just be yourself and do what it is is you. Because, they wouldn't have hired you to do it unless, they wanted something else. And it's
exactly it.
It's a wonderful place.
At the beginning of my career, I used to send a lot of my drafts and my roughs to other illustrator friends, saying, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? And I realized that it was like that I didn't have the confidence to just have an idea and stick with it and kind of run with it. Rather, I was looking for validation from everywhere else, when really you have to give yourself that validation and say, I believe in this idea and this is the concept,
That is not an easy thing to do, though, for any of us. I remember starting Creative Boom 12 years ago, and people would just sort of look at me and go, what are you doing? What's that all about? And I was so determined. I so believed in this thing that I was going to do about supporting the creative community that I just always had that. And I've always had that. But there have been moments of, doubt and dips in confidence. And you have to sort of go back to that kind of purpose, don't you? I can't remember who was telling me in an interview the other day. It might well have been Murugiah saying, you have to have a purpose. There's got to be something about what you're doing that defines your whole kind of life and career. And if you haven't got that, then you're kind of just wandering around aimlessly, really. And you're right, looking for approval from others. And that's never going to get you anywhere. Never going to get you very far.
Exactly. Sometimes that purpose doesn't necessarily have to be something so overcomplicated either. It can just be something like brightening up someone's day.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't necessarily have to be like some crazy big thing, but yeah
we can be creative and we can be successful, and how we define success differs from one person to the next. For some it might be money, and then for people like us, Sharm, it's just to be able to do what we love for a living, which is just a brilliant thing to have. Thankful
every day for it. Really am.
Definitely. Well, I feel like I could talk to you all day, and I'm very conscious we've been talking for a very long time. So thank you so much for sharing your story, and please do let us know what that thing is that we're not allowed to talk about when you can.
As soon as I can, even if it gets rejected in a little while, I'll be able to share it anyway. So I should be able to at some point. We'll see what happens.
It's not rejection. It's more of a case of you tried, and that is the best thing ever. You actually applied yourself and did something. And
I say rejection with confidence. It's like the client did not like it, but I was fully confident in the idea, and I wouldn't have done it any other way. So if you don't like it, that's cool. I will have another stab at it in a few years' time. Maybe my thinking process changes over time and I have another go at it. But yeah, I'm like, cool for you, good for you. I don't mind that you don't like this. I really like it, and I will defend it if you ask me to.
Well, that's brilliant. That's a lovely way to end this, and I'm sure many people will be inspired. Thank you, Sharm.
Thank you very much.
That's it for another week. I'm Katie Cowan, and you've been listening to the Creative Boom podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsor Shillington, the original graphic design bootcamp that has helped loads of students achieve award-winning portfolios and land incredible jobs in as little as 3 months. To find out more, go to shillingtoneducation.com. To listen or subscribe to the Creative Boom podcast, visit creativeboom.com/podcast. It's as simple as that. And don't forget to leave us a review if you're enjoying the show. Join me next time when my guest will be the graphic designer and educator, Eric Brandt.